Paji. Sorry, that was a bit of Punjabi. That means Hanji Paji means like hello brother.
What about the private finance?
Sorry?
If people give you private finance.
You speak up a tiny bit. Sorry.
You mentioned about private finance.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Okay. Now, private finance works on different levels, and I want to make sure that it's very clear, because don't get confused with this point, right? What happens is, if I've got a distressed client over here, they've got, let's just say, they're going to lose their house, they're going to lose their car, they're going to have major family problems. Over here, I've got about 20 people that have got funds. Somebody might have 5 million, somebody might have 20 million, somebody have 10 million. So what they do is, some of them are actually, let's say, are very lucid in terms of what they'll do. Some of them are very specific about what they'll do. And what I try to do is I try to deal with the ones which are quite specific. And they tend to be people who've got money, but they're clear about what their intentions are in terms of trying to work for this long term. But primarily private funders are people who've got cash, but they're probably happy to do things which are commercially orientated and not within the regulations. So they'll go and do things and solve problems, but they'll be more likely not to be doing things which are status-based, where you have to show your status and your affordability and have accountancy certificates and things like that. So they're more inclined to do those sort of things which are commercial though, can't really do residential. So we have tons of private funders that will fund things where there are problems, but they're primarily doing it either 9 times out of 10 to actually bridge the client out of a problem. But I've got one that came in on Thursday, for example, for quite a large organisation. We went to a prime lender, like a bank type lender, who's part, like, they got 500 million to spend or something, and they're a bridging company. But they'll take about 3 weeks to do that lend, but I'll be waiting for them 3 weeks. So I decided to actually then switch on the private lender, and they were switched on Thursday, and we're competing tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, and £76,000 is going to land into our client's account. So that's how quick. So private lender is going to be somebody ideally who's quick, but sometimes private lenders, they actually want status as well, just because they want to be pedantic, but they don't want to solve the problem, but they just want everything for doing nothing. So hope that answers your question. It's probably not 100% clear because it's been a long day. Had to go to court today to stop a possession, and I just had a client come in who's his property's going to auction tomorrow, so I've got a lot on my mind. I'm very emotionally distressed. I need to talk to somebody after this. Ben, can we have a chat, yeah? Offload all my distress onto you. Okay, I'll come and talk to you. Oh, yeah.
Another question?
Do you have like a database of investors that you...
Do you have a database of potential investors that you offer the deals that come on your desk to?
Okay, what's happened is, to answer that specific question, which is, do we have a database of investors? What we do is we've got a tiering of investors. I've got a database of it. If I told you, I'll tell you afterwards, but let's say we've got about 80,000 investor database. I don't have time to talk to people and trying to convince them of things. I just want people that are actually there to say, bang, I'll sort that out, and my word is my bond, and I trust what you're saying. So I've got about 20 people like that, which are high net. Then we've got about another 200, which are sort of like tire kickers as well. They'll probably say, all right, maybe I'll do that, but you don't really know whether they will or won't until they're really tested. So I've got maybe about 10 or 20 tried and tested people who've got maybe $500,000 up to about 10 mil, and we work with them, and that's sort of the developers as well as funders as well as private bridges as well, the combination of those. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So when a property comes onto your desk,
yeah,
how do you offer it up to the potential investors in just a case of this is the property, this is the address?
Well,
do you
yeah, what I typically tend to do is, because I've been long in the tooth in terms of understanding investor psychology, I just pick up the phone to somebody who I know can deliver straight away, because I don't want to spend talking to 10 people. I just talk to one. I say, look, you got 5 hours on it, yes or no? I said, and they're usually quite direct. They say no or yes. Then I ring the second best person, then the third best person, But what I've done is I've actually moved away from that in the last 10 days. I've got somebody working for me doing that now who's actually got 15 years experience in actually doing sales and lettings, so they'll actually manage those things and close those relationships off. So I've got the option of either now speaking to my finance person who heads up finance, or to my salesperson, or I would have my own database of people that I've known for a long time. So it's usually not sent out and to the masses, it's just done to solve the problem. But if it depends on the case, if sometimes you've got to go to clients and actually send everything out because they've got time, they haven't got distress situations. So I have to make it clear we deal with everything. We're like everything to every man. We're not. So basically, we deal with problems, but I also deal with like a very simple sale in Harrow or something for a 3-bed house for 500. We do lettings. So we do all the boring, dull stuff that that you got to do to make money. But we're not really interested in that sort of business because that's not our niche. We're growing with the issue that you brought out, which is the problem market. We've always been contrarian, so we were sloping uphill. Now we're beginning to slope downhill quite fast now with the amount of clients we're getting, if that makes any sense. Okay?
It's time for one more question, and then we go.
Thank you very much. The last question here. Do people bring you problem schemes like land sale? Because I have various, I do a bit of sourcing, and I have some problem sites that come to me that people can't really get rid of. They just don't stack up on some levels and stack up on others.
What happens is, generally speaking, we don't really always have that happening as a rule of thumb as such, but we do get things time to time because they know that I'm well connected. So because people just ring me and say, "Lakhi, can you do this?" Then I usually know a man who can.
Right.
But because of the amount of work that we're doing now, the amount of clients I speak to, there'll always definitely be 100%, a solution. There may be a solution that's actually something that you might not even comprehend, the type of connections we have. So every sort of problem poses a potential opportunity to solve the problem as well, if that makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
So guys, thank you very much, Lakhi. A big round of applause for Lakhi.
Thank you very much.
So thank you. And now we are going